Senator, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us, first of all, what is your overall impression of Judge Barrett so far?
Well, I think that she's got outstanding credentials, and she demonstrates that in her appearance before us and the answers to the questions. I think she's very transparent, but when you come with the background she did as working for Silberman as clerk and for Scalia as a clerk, and then being #1 in her Notre Dame class, and then getting tenured professorship real easy. And then we've got 100 cases of hers on the Circuit Court of Appeals. So in every way, she's very transparent from the standpoint of her work as judge and law professor, but she's also very transparent as a person. But she's got impeccable credentials. And I don't think there's any, I haven't heard from either Republicans or Democrats any dispute of that.
We just heard Senator Dick Durbin say that his concern, other Democrats are concerned that this is a nominee who President Trump believes he can count on to overturn the Affordable Care Act and overturn Roe v. Wade. Do you think she will do those things?
Well, she made very clear that there's no basis for the president to assume anything about her, because they never had any discussion whatsoever with either the President of the United States or anybody connected with the President of the United States about how she might rule in the future. And then she has her reputation as 3 years on the Circuit Court of Appeals, and she also has what she has told us, that she goes to the court with no agenda. And as a farmer, let me explain it this way. I think she's made very clear that she's going to look at the facts of the case and the law and apply just apply those things in making a decision. And I think she's shown that 3 years on the Circuit Court of Appeals. So I don't think there's any basis for anybody, Republican or Democrat, to have any reason from the hearings or anything from her 3 years on the Circuit Court that she isn't anything but a person that's a strict constructionist. In other words, leaving her own personal views out of a decision and looking at the law and the facts.
But even if you set aside the hearing, based on her writings, based on what's known to be her philosophy, do you expect her, if it comes up, to vote to overturn Roe v. Wade and to undo or overturn the Affordable Care Act?
No. From this standpoint, that we don't even know what those cases are going to be. But let's say if it affected the ACA, with the severability clause, I haven't heard anybody expect the case just to be 100% overthrown, maybe parts of it, but, and also Roe v. Wade not only is a precedent of 50 years, but there's a super precedent of 30 years that would kind of dictate that the court wouldn't overturn it. Now, I'm speaking as a pro-life person. I don't like that Roe v. Wade's on the books, but you also got to be a realist about how these cases come. We don't even know what case might come, and most of the cases that have come to the court on abortion, as an example, have been state laws not ruling out abortion, but putting some restrictions on it, like maybe having a period of time for the mother to think about 24 hours for an abortion. That's a simple one. But there's been others as well.
Senator, if for any reason this presidential election is disputed and it ends up at the Supreme Court, do you think then Justice Barrett, if she's on the court, should recuse herself?
Oh, well, she's made very clear that there's a whole process going through recusal, and she's going to go through that process. And there's no way she could tell us today she's going to recuse or not. But you talk to colleagues. There's precedent for recusal, and you've got people that are thinking of it very deeply. but she herself will make that decision. But she doesn't do it without consultation with other 8 people on the Supreme Court, and she doesn't do it without following precedent of the Supreme Court.
Senator, I know you know that in 2016, when President Obama nominated Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court, you issued a statement saying it was the Senate's responsibility not to support a nomination during a presidential election year, that the American people shouldn't be denied a voice. Why is this nomination different?
So in 2016, when I was holding up and not having a hearing, not going forward with it, at that particular time, there was a historical reason for not doing it, but I was also asked at that time, when I wasn't going to have a hearing, and all of my town meetings were very controversial on this subject, I was asked, what would you do in 2020? I said I would not have a hearing if I were chairman. I'm not chairman. Graham is chairman. I'm a member of that committee. I have a responsibility to do my work as a member of that committee. So Chairman Graham made the decision, and we're moving ahead based on what the chairman said. I'm keeping my word to the people of Iowa because I'm not chairman of the committee.
One other thing, Senator, you voted against the confirmation of both Justices Sotomayor and Justice Kagan. Have you had any reason to regret those votes?
I think in the case of Kagan, yes. In the case of Sotomayor, not so. But don't forget, those are the only 2 justices of all the justices that I've heard hearings on and voted on since 1980 that I've voted against.
And just briefly, why regret Justice Kagan?
Well, because I think Justice Kagan has proved herself in 5 or 6 years to not be the idealist that I think Sotomayor is.
All right, we will leave it there. Senator Chuck Grassley, thank you very much.
Thank you.